just dropped my son off, and so now I'm going to at least Home Depot. I might be going to, sorry, I don't feel that great. So yeah, going to Home Depot and then probably going maybe to BJ's to pick up food real fast, but honestly there's stuff to do, so maybe not. And so anyway, conversation with my the assistants today, and I think it might be able to help you out as well. So basically we had the new assistant starting this week, and they're actually getting a ton of stuff done, which is great, and it feels like we're going in the right direction. But it came up, we were talking about social media, and so basically it was, what do, you know, obviously I'm on YouTube all the time, and then it's like, okay, we really need, you know, LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and like all this kind of stuff, right? And so they're like, all right, we're gonna do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, hold on, like we haven't done YouTube, right? Obviously I've posted, like I post on YouTube quite a bit. At this point, I thought it was just about 200 videos. It's like almost 400. And like I have about just as many as subscribers, and like so something's off here, right? So it's like, you know, I think I talked about it yesterday, but it's like, you know, click-through ratio and thumbnails and like all this other kind of shit, right? And so it's like, and I wasn't trying to be rude, but it's like I just need, like, I just don't want to keep on doing the same thing where it's like, okay, we plan this stuff out, and then it's like we kind of sort of did it, but not really, and then we go on to something else, right? And because it's not like it just check the box off the list and you're done. Like this is something that has to be like ongoing. And so she had just came into this and she's like, well, you have this strategy in place and stuff like that already, and it's like we just got to execute on that. It's like, yeah, but we also haven't even done it yet, right? So then as the other person's trying to explain the, you know, the process, because it's like, I thought we covered this, but you can just tell that if someone doesn't really know what they're talking about, it's very, you just get that feeling, right? It's kind of like when I'm doing these types of videos where it's not structured content. So as we start bringing that out, like you'll see the immediate difference, because with this kind of stuff, it's, you know, a lot of pauses, a lot of you knows, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, these extended pauses because you're trying to like think of what to say, or in the case of if you get someone to explain what they're going to do, right? So if you're maybe, I guess the way that like how this could be helpful for you is like if you're hiring someone for whatever and they quote unquote are supposed to be an expert, right? And it's like, all right, well, explain to me, like, you know, pretend I'm like, you know, a 10-year-old, and it's like just quickly explain what you're gonna do, right? And so if they can't do it simply, and there's a lot of pauses and a lot of like going back and forth and things like that, then like the expert that you were thinking they were know more than you. But at this point, like if they haven't, you know, knowledge and execution are two totally different things. You know, they quote, I think someone had said it before, obviously there's the, you know, knowledge is power quote, right? But it's really not. It's applied knowledge, right? It's executing on that knowledge that is really the power, because you have the smartest people, you know, that are just say teachers and things like that. But if you are trying, like if you have someone that's teaching personal finance or whatever else, or business, like good example is business, right? So if you have someone that teaching business, they have probably a lot of knowledge, right? But they haven't really executed any of it, which is why they are a teacher. So are they really going to be qualified to, you know, be able to teach you how to run a business? Yes and no. It's like, again, if they're not doing it for a living, then there's a reason for that, right? So anyway, I'm heading into Home Depot real quick. If you guys, or not if you guys, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I just got back from Home Depot, and the concept I was talking about earlier, I feel like I might have a better way of explaining it. So if you are currently looking to hire someone that is supposedly an expert in whatever that you're trying to do, whether that's for social media or for maybe it's a foreman, like whatever it may be, right? So what you can do is a few things, right? So number one is just ask them to quickly explain to you a high level of like what they do, right? So number one, like, why are you hiring them? Like, what kind of problem are they trying to solve? So just say it's for social media, right? And in my case, it's like, okay, I know that for me, that again, I keep on talking about the same thing, but hopefully by saying it in different ways or whatever, or I don't know what's going to end up getting posted. But if I'm trying to, like, if I've posted hundreds of videos and the subscriber count just is not high, and there's obviously a reason for it, right? So it's not all about that, but like something's amiss, right? So if I'm hiring an expert, it's like, okay, like, tell me, you know, I've posted hundreds of videos, I only have a handful of subscribers, you know, for the amount of effort and time and stuff I put into it. You know, how are you going to basically fix that, right? And just give me a quick high level. So if they can't quickly and simply explain what they're going to do, then chances are they don't know what they're talking about, right? Because like what you see a lot of times now, like, so say you're hiring someone from Google, Google My Business Optimization. It's like, well, okay, well, like, what are you gonna do? If they can't explain to you quickly and simply what they're gonna do, they probably have not done it enough times. They may know what they may know what they should do, but they may not know, or they may not have done it enough times to have it like just on autopilot, where they might have like the sheet of paper where, you know, with all the shit that they do. So that's one thing. The other thing that I used to do for McDonald's is whenever I would go through whenever we were hiring people, because it was like all the time, is I would start like, and I didn't do this intentionally at first, but I would start, instead of doing like one-on-one interviews, I would start doing group interviews. So, you know, it would be like 2 people, then 3, then 5, and then I think there was one or 2 times where, like, because we would do like hiring days and, you know, whatever, I would do like 10, 15 interviews at the same time, right? And obviously you can't spend a lot of time with these people doing it in that method, but it was also like, it was McDonald's, right? But the one thing that we were able to see is quickly that the best people would just kind of like stand out right away, or people that were like, you just tell right away in a group setting if they were able, kind of like going to be able to work with each other, right? Or like work within a group and, you know, things like that. So it was very easy to see that there would be like this person where if I would have interviewed them one-on-one, I'm like, oh, they're halfway decent, like I'll hire them. But then when I started doing like 5 people at a time, there was these people that just would immediately stand out and are like, oh, like I'm hiring you, right? And so you can't really do that with these other types of situations. Though maybe you could if you're hiring like for a foreman. So like if you already know like what needs to be done and you're an expert and it's, you know, in your field, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna hire a foreman. Like that kind of group interview, like you could do something like that, because as they're talking, you know, other people start interacting with that, and you can kind of see, you know, at that point, you know, if you're having these open discussions, like they can't like fake their way through it. Like they kind of like, if they don't know what the hell they're talking about, like it's going to be easy to see like right away, right? Now, if you're hiring again for Google My Business Optimization or content or, you know, whatever it may be, social media, you can't really do multiple people at the same time. Like that's not going to work out. But what you should be doing, and this is something that I don't do enough myself, but people like Alex Hormozy and people like that talk about, is that you need to do way more time and effort into the hiring process than you typically do. Like I know I didn't do enough. And so like when you're going to hire for a position, don't just interview 3 people. You might have to interview, like, especially if it's a really high level position, or if it's a position or, you know, a job that maybe you've tried hiring for numerous times and it just never worked out. Well, if that's the case, don't interview 3 people, 5 people, like interview 20. You know, because at that point, you'll quickly see that one person, and Alex Hormozy talks about it, and Layla Hormozy, like, if you're hiring the expert, they should be teaching you, right? The other concept is from Dan Martell, and I think he got it from like Seth Godin, which Seth Godin's like a marketing guy, so you probably don't know who he is. Dan Martell is more of a software person, so you probably don't know him either. But they say, you know, I don't know if I can work with you before I work with you. So giving them some kind of test projects or whatever, pay them obviously, but give them test projects and be like, all right, after this, you know, trial period, we'll decide if we're going to be able to work together or not, right? So I'm doing that with the new assistant as well. So we're basically given a 2-week time frame, because like, I told her the same thing, like, we're both on our best behavior. You know, maybe she, like, it's possible that, you know, next Friday we sit down and talk, and like, I think she's amazing and I really want her like stick with the team and stuff like that, and she'd be like, this is not really what I wanted, you know, and which is fine. But having that trial period of like seeing if you guys are going to be a good fit and having that test run and things like that. It's similar to like, you don't get married unless you're dating them. You don't get engaged unless you've been dating for a while, more than likely, right? I hope this kind of stuff helps. But that being said, I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying over and over again, is that you need to be producing content. If I can leave you with nothing else, produce content. So hire people, but as far as the content is concerned, it doesn't have to be rocket science in the beginning. It just has to get done. If you're not doing anything, something is infinitely better than nothing, right? So again, if you're not doing anything, if you haven't, you know, if you haven't posted anything, start with pictures. After you do pictures, then do like some, maybe with the pictures, then chuck it into CapCut and then because if you guys don't know, and I really need to do a video about that because that would be helpful as well, but using CapCut, like you can pick a song, you can upload your, like just even files or the photos, and it will automatically sync it to the beat. Like it's crazy what this stuff does. And then after you get that, maybe get a little fancy and maybe put some like scrolling footage, like video footage of like the before and after, and kind of streamline that stuff in between. After that, you can get into just like a talking head video, like, hey, this is Joe with, you know, such and such company. Today we're in this place and we're doing this thing, right? And then after that, it's going in more depth. So it's like, hey, this is Joe with this company and I'm in this place and we're doing this thing. And the reason for it is because the homeowner was having this issue and we were able to correct it by doing this. And now their life is so much better because of whatever it may be, right? Then it's like you can get into video testimonials and all this other kind of shit. Like there's so many things that can be done. But if you start looking at, and the reason, what is this person doing? You're going, oh my God, this person's literally, and she had a Jersey license. Oh my God. So Jersey's known for the round, like we call them circles, but I think other places call them like roundabouts, like, you know, person's literally going in the opposite direction. So that won't be good. Anyway, and I'm pretty sure they had a Jersey tag on. So anyway, hope these types of videos help. But at this point, like I said, if you can take nothing else away, please just post some content. Please just do something. It will be extremely helpful. I promise you. I promise it'll be worth it. The times are changing. The way people are choosing the companies that they're going to use is changing. There's a lot of things that are happening. And if you don't get on board with this, you're going to get left behind at some point. So the key thing is just to start. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you. This is me the afternoon. So I'm heading to pick up my son. So honestly, I feel like shit. I was sick for several days and then I started feeling better and then I felt like shit again. What the hell is going on? And so I'm wondering actually if it's from me messing with my office. I basically tore down these foam panels that were like falling off and kind of sanding that, so like getting shit into the air. And then after that, putting up this other foam style wall, and I'm sure there's like off gassing and stuff like that. And because I was smelling this shit at the end of the day, and I'm like, maybe this is why I'm not feeling great. So anyway, I spent some time, and I've talked about it, where again, I was taking off these foam panels, then I put on this stuff, the other stuff, and it does look way nicer. The problem is, after I completely finished, I start talking, and it's freaking there's an echo again, right? So what I guess the way you could use this in your business, right, is number one, I could have found someone that actually has done this stuff before, soundproof rooms or removed echoes and basically built studios. Could have done that. Because if I would have just spent the time finding that one person, I would have eliminated, I don't even know how many hours at this point, between the first time I put the stuff up and now this time, which I'm not even completely done because I have this like one wall and hopefully like I can go in and like show it. But there's one cinder block wall I never touched. It was painted all black and I never did anything with it because there was stuff that's like, it's not completely flat, right? And so anyway, I just never did anything with it. So now I'm putting these foam tile things that were falling down originally back up, but I didn't want to use the spray adhesive again because it smells horrible and I feel like I end up getting sick from that. So I was using this double-sided tape, right? And so I was marking everything out. I'm like, and because I started putting some of it up and I'm like, it doesn't look exactly vertical. So I'm like, all right, let me just do this the right way. And it marked everything out, x-axis and all this other kind of shit. And then, so what happens? The tiles aren't all the same. So I marked everything out at like 11 3/4 and everything was fine for like the first 2 rows. And then the third one's starting to get messed up and the fourth one's way off and I started measuring and of course tiles are different, like lengths, widths, you know, whatever. So like, honestly, shove that there. It's a little frustrating. So number one, I could have found someone to just do it to save me time. And this is kind of exactly like what I was talking about with my assistants today is like, I don't want to, like, I've already produced hundreds of videos and we haven't seen much results from it. And at this point, I don't want to keep on doing stuff that's not effective. You know, it would be bad enough that I spent all this time and the walls and everything else sounded fine and it didn't fall down and it looked good, but it didn't. So I wasted all this time and it still sounds like shit and now I have to like redo it again and I'm spending the time trying to figure it out, spending the time searching for like the things I like to have on the wall and like all this other kind of stuff, and only for it not to work out again. Really freaking annoying. So anyway, next time I'm just gonna hire someone. So that's the quickest way to do it. The other way is like spending the time to research on what to do, you know, in this case, what should I be using, what should I not be using, instead of just looking for something that looks nice. I should have also been like, all right, what's gonna look nice and then also not echo, right? So long story short, it's just a frustrating process at this point and like I'm so annoyed and that's where I'm kind of at. So anyway, overall, everything, I guess this week was pretty good, like pretty steady. And then I looked at our sales for the first, was it 8 days? Yeah, for the first 8 days of the month compared to last year. And we're up like a little bit less. So it's like 15, actually it's probably about 18. I didn't do the exact numbers, but I'm just kind of doing that in my head. It's probably about 18% increase over last year. So considering how everyone says how bad it is and everything else, it's going pretty well. And if we would have had a halfway decent economy, we probably would have been up like 75%, 50, 75, something like that. But anyway, so that's where we're kind of at this point, and that's about it. So like I said, I wasn't feeling great. And then, like I said, I'm wondering if it's just because of the fumes. So I might just see what happens if I let everything air out and kind of go from there. Because the last time this happened, like it's the same thing. Or if I'm messing with the inside the warehouse and we were taking out insulation, like all that dust and stuff. And if you are the type of person, this is a random like health side note. If you are a type of person that if the like cologne and perfumes and like the smelly candles and stuff like that, like you have a really bad reaction to it, as far as like it just smells really bad. You know, if most people are fine, but then you're one of the few where it's like it smells really bad, it gives you like instant headaches and some, you know, shit like that, it actually might be part of your genes. So there is, I forget the exact thing. It's like MPHTER or something like that. It's some type of gene that if it's like switched on or off, one or the other, it causes you to have like extreme reactions to like smells and things like that. And I have that, right? And so anyway, where I found that is, I believe it's called the book's called Dirty Genes. I forget who wrote it. It might be Mark Hyman. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, that's a random health tip or note of the day. So there we go. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to open up the windows and hopefully air myself out and see what happens. So talk to you. Bye.